And now, back to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are here this week to talk about episode 441B, Idle Minds.
Idle Minds.
And that's IDOL Minds.
Yes, not IDLE.
Yes. Very important distinction.
We got idols on the mind. Not Survivor. These won't get you out of anything. These will get you into a lot of things.
Wow. Look at that. Well done, Andrew.
Thank you.
This is the B side to the episode we covered last week. What do you think? It originally aired April 8th of 2000, same as What Do You Think? And it was written by Charlie Richards, who we talked about previously. He's written 5 episodes total, but the other one he wrote was The Lion Tale.
Oh, classic. Oh, okay.
So he's back, and this time it's with Idle Minds. It's an episode directed by Phil Lawler, obviously, because they all are, not because this one has a real Phil stink to it. And it was, or it does have a 78% on the wiki with 42 votes.
That's quite the drop-off, and all things considered, between the last episode.
What, a 12% drop-off is significant?
Yeah, I would say, especially because I think this is probably the better episode. Out of the two?
Maybe. I think it's the more fun episode.
Yeah.
I don't rank either of these particularly high in, hot split episode summer.
No, me neither. I mean, we don't really have... The best part about this episode is really just the art that goes along with it, where you get to see animatronic wit.
Right. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, the original cover for this album, which is album 34, In Your Wildest Dreams, In Your Wilder Dreams.
I'll be in my wilder woods.
Good band. You want to just talk about bands again?
Yeah, we can do that.
So, In Your Wildest Dreams.
Coldplay.
Anyways, yeah, if you haven't seen the artwork for the original artwork for this album, the artwork that I grew up with, it does have Wit as a robot being controlled by a very smiley Eugene. And it is just entirely Wit, but he's silver.
Yep. Yeah, very much Wit, very much lifeless dead eyes, very much robot.
Yeah.
And I believe he has a circuit board on his chest, like kind of Darth Vader fashion.
It's not actually a circuit board, it's the speaker.
Oh.
From which the sound emits.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, because it can't come out of his mouth. It's got to come out of his chest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they say speak from the chest. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about opening up your chest cavity.
Wow. Bold.
Yeah. Theater's really gotten pretty edgy.
So, yeah, that's
the gist of this episode. So it begins with Alex and David talking to Connie at Wit's End, and then Eugene comes up. They both Alex and David have very serious questions that they want to talk to Wit about, and Connie makes an effort to be like, well, I can answer your question, I can give you advice, and same thing with Eugene, and both Alex and David are hesitant. They're like, ugh, well, I don't know if you're quite qualified. I think we might need insurance to take your advice.
Yes, funny bit. And I like advice insurance as a concept.
Oh, yeah.
That
well, especially from
me.
Connie. Connie's advice insurance.
Right. Well, and also, yeah, I like that at no point in this, and maybe it's because it's prior to, although I would assume it's been going on, no point does Connie bring up the fact that she has an advice show.
Yeah.
That's like kind of her thing. But this concept that like Wit's the only one who gives actual good advice. And then David asks his question, which is, if a car is traveling at the speed of light and he turns on his lights, does anything happen? And Connie's like, why was that the question you asked? What? He's like, well, it's a prerequisite question.
If you can give me an answer, if you can prove yourself right, then
I'll ask the real question.
Then I'll give you my real problem.
Yeah.
Then Eugene jumps in, tries to answer the question. They're not sure. And this is when it's revealed that Whit is going to be out of town for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. There's Eugene chimes in with like saying something along the lines of like, hey, I'm able to offer advice or whatnot. And Katie Lee does an incredible mock laugh as Connie that I just really stood out to me. Go back and listen to it. It's great.
I will have to definitely go back.
But yeah, Whit's at a book warehouse in Chicago where he's going to be for a couple weeks because of encyclopedia complications.
Naturally. And wait, I thought he was getting Bibles.
Oh, it is Bibles. It's not encyclopedia related. That's right. It's Bible related.
Yeah, getting Bible stuff. Talking to the warehouse about the Bible.
I just realized I think that's supposed to be part of the allegory.
Oh.
I think that's a Ten Commandments.
Yes.
Wits. It didn't make sense
Wits
before.
Focusing on the word.
But Wits like off.
Comes back.
Like engaging with. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That's what I missed.
Huh. Well,
I was like, the Bible warehouse thing just doesn't make sense. And then it's like, oh, this episode is in a bite of applesauce kind of way, really leaning into the allegory, which is not like a typical Odyssey thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, and then they name drop it at the end.
Right.
So Whit's away, and all these kids have questions, including Liz, but they want advice from Whit, and Connie and Eugene's advice will not suffice.
You said Liz. It's Mandy.
It's Mandy?
It's Miss Mandy in this episode.
Oh, okay.
Because Mandy and David are both here. That's fine. But yeah, Mandy's like, I'm saving a question for Whit as well.
Yeah.
And she's like, I haven't been able to see him in a little while, and now he's going to be gone for weeks. Like,
no, it's a real crisis. Mm-hmm. And
Eugene's like, well, I've been working on a computer program that can give Whit responses.
Mm-hmm.
So he shows it off, and yeah, it's
actually really funny.
Yeah.
Like, Whit AI feels very 2022.
Yeah. So Mandy asks her question to it, types it into the computer, and it spits it back out in Whit's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But kind of broken up computer-y.
Right.
Yeah. It's good. It's really funny.
Yep. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong with creating a John Avery Whittaker AI?
God AI.
And this is, I would like to point out, an album after the Dr. Blackard AI held Aubrey hostage.
You are correct. We are really going into this, huh? You really got spooked by that one IBM presentation.
But I'm just like, you really like went back to that. Like I feel like both. This feels like something Eugene would do, like early on in Odyssey.
Oh yeah, no, this feels like Whit or Eugene reinventing the store because make it more optimal.
Yes, it doesn't feel like a Eugene storyline from this time.
Yeah.
In Odyssey.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then But Eugene and then especially with the Blackard thing, you'd think he'd be like, no, I'm gonna stay away from making like AI versions of Satan and God. Like we should probably hold back on that.
Nope.
No.
Goes doubles down. In fact, he has it as an AI, and they thought the kids are thinking that the computer is a bit calloused, so they put his trinkets around it, his mugs, his sweaters.
There's a poster there,
like poster.
It becomes a shrine.
Yeah, it becomes a literal shrine.
And Connie's been coming in early to talk to the computer
before work.
And Eugene's they're talking about like. Connie's just talking about how impersonal it is, and Eugene's like, well, they've done so much, like they've put so much around it to help it feel personal, and Connie's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, like it's still a computer, and Eugene's like, I feel a lot of affection from computers, and Connie says, and I quote, yeah, but you're different. You can hug a computer and feel loved. Most people can't do that. Actually, nobody else can do that.
Dylan, can you hug a computer and feel loved?
No.
I think I can. If it's a new computer, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
We have a couple Mac Pros in the server lab where I work, which is
real nice.
They're cool. They look like a cheese grater. They're very exciting.
Yeah.
This is the closest I've come, maybe.
Or
like, no.
Ooh.
No, actually, here's the thing. At this point, phone, tablet,
oh yeah,
even like an e-reader. Like I feel like I've probably come close to hugging those, especially when they like contain people on the other side. Like I for sure cried while looking at a computer screen.
Yep. I have kissed my phone over FaceTime. It's a very proud moment for me. Well, maybe not. I don't know if the lips touched, but definitely got real close to the camera. Give it up.
I've made out with my girl Hallie.
I have made out. When we're passing the chicken, anything's liable to happen.
Oh man. But yeah, so this witch shrine is getting out of hand.
And the kids want something they can hug.
Right. And so Eugene comes up with a solution. He
Chuck E.
unveils
Cheese animatronic wit.
a robo-wit. And all the kids are gathering around it, super excited about it, as Wit walks in.
Yep. And then animatronic Wit says, "Today is a good day to worship the Lord."
Which is so dystopian. Like nightmare fuel if I've ever heard it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, it's like the automated response thing, and then Wit walks right up to it, unplugs it, and it powers down. Everybody's upset. They're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
and Wit's like, "Go home."
I'm Wit. I'm the guy. You don't need this because I'm here.
Go home. Read Exodus chapter 32, then come back here and we'll talk about what you did wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
We don't have time to beat around the bush in these split episodes, man. Wit's got to be really direct with his homework assignments.
Yeah. It's very funny too because then you have Wit talking to Connie and Eugene. He's like, "Do I need to explain this to you guys as well?" And they're both like, "No, the Exodus 32 thing hit."
Yeah.
Which I did find just like a fun moment.
Well, and it was a thing where I did have to do a double take where I was like, "Is Eugene a Christian at this point in the show?"
Yes.
I was like,
Sure.
Should he be the one, like, should he be willing to understand that this is wrong at this point?
Sure.
And, yeah, no. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to God. And Connie says, "Yeah, I think I'm going to go do that now."
Yeah. The idea that God and Wit are separate people is a little bit tough to swallow. Don't apologize to me, apologize to God. It's like, well, is it not one and the same, Wit? Because here's the thing, is we're doing a gold...
No, apologizing to Wit is a part of their apology to God.
Look, we're doing the gold calf thing, where Wit is, I guess, being equated to Moses at this point. The difference is that they don't worship a golden version of Moses. No. They worship a golden version of God.
Yeah.
Like, the golden calf is a God stand-in, not a Moses stand-in, right?
Yes, it is a God stand-in.
So if animatronic Wit is a golden calf, then Wit is God by easy transitive property.
Easy transit. Yes.
Like, that's not
You're not even hiding it. No.
No. It's so hilarious that Odyssey's like, no, the gold calf that the kids are gonna build is just gonna be Wit.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like he it's not like he directly challenges their desire to get advice from only him.
This is right.
He's
this
just like, go read the Bible.
Yeah, is right. The issue is, or like they don't make issue with the core of it, which is the kids all idolize Wit. The stand-in is the like surface level problem.
Yeah.
But the core of it
Is the kids idolize Wit.
right. And so it's just this moment of like it's simultaneously the most in Leaf self-awareness the show has ever had.
Yeah.
Where they're like, right, our kids are gonna worship a statue of Wit, but that doesn't reflect poorly on their relationship with Wit.
No.
And yeah, it just
Or that Wit should be held to that standard. Like
right. It's almost like it can be written off as like, oh, well, Wit would never let the kids worship him like that, so it's not a problem.
No.
And it's
no,
like, no, if it's still what they're
he
like,
does though.
He does. He might do a better. He's going to do a better job at curbing it than Eugene's crappy robot.
Yeah.
But like, it's also what's in their hearts and what they're desiring, whatever. Not
Yeah.
like if they like this episode starts out with none of the kids are willing to ask anyone else for advice because the only person who has advice that they trust is Wit. That is the problem.
Yes. And that is not addressed.
No, it's not. Like, the problem manifests itself in this robot.
Yeah.
But the core of the problem is that they don't, like, that they trust one man to have all the answers.
Yes. Well, and that they're entirely dependent on the one man.
Right.
Like,
that when the man goes away, like, then they are, like, then they don't have their chickens with their heads cut off.
Yeah. That is, actually, it's a big thing in, like, with working with kids. It's called, like, phasing prompts. So it's like, how much external pressure are you going to put on somebody to get them to do something? And then you're supposed to scale it back over time so they strengthen their independence to be able to do it because they know they have to do it, not because you're prompting them. And, yeah, no, Wit's not doing that. There is no scaling.
Yeah.
There was only go home and read Exodus chapter 32.
Right.
Maybe I should? I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah, Andrew, well, what are you idolizing these days?
Well, let me go check the Bible and make sure it's an idol. Where do I get most of my answers from? The Fantasy Footballers Podcast.
That's where you're going to with all your moral quandaries.
Yeah. No, especially financial stuff. They're really, really good with that.
Yeah. I mean, look, if I'm gonna say what, I'll shed some light on things that Dylan idolizes. Relationships with other people, not romantically, but just in general. Like, I will put that. I will never really sacrifice. Like that's never going to be the point that gives. If it's like, oh, I'm going to get less sleep tonight, but I get to spend time with these people, I'm going to get less sleep. If it's oh, hey, like, I'm going to
same.
skip church to go hang out with these people. Like, absolutely. Like, there's the slight edge is like stuff that I have like my word holds a little bit more value than other people in that regard.
If I said I was going to do this,
like, I'm not going to skip out on responsibility for other people.
Yeah.
But I will, like, just about anything else.
I'll try, but
but just about anything else, I'm going to, like, put people ahead.
Yeah.
Also, like, what others think of me is something I idolize.
One.
Like that, which is, not. That being said, leave nice iTunes reviews.
Yes, please. My entire mental well-being, 70% of my mental well-being depends on it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, one of the healthier parts of doing this show has been being able to distance myself a little bit from other people's thoughts and be like, oh, they're not necessarily valid, or that shouldn't necessarily be like the thing I'm chasing. Like, truly one of the best things to come from doing this show, or like just an example I think about all the time is like having that realization when we were doing Rydell stuff, where I was like, oh, chasing like numbers and trying to like bring in as many listeners as possible does not matter to me as much as it does to like have fun doing a thing with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's ultimately what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But
well, and it's just better. Like, I remember talking about it with you and just being like, I think it's just better content when we're both enjoying it and we're not like just rolling our eyes through it the whole time. Whereas, yeah, we definitely probably should and could, to as far as if we wanted to grow brand awareness or whatever, and make sure that we're really riding the hype of all the new Odyssey that comes out. But no, not for me.
yeah.
I would say probably, yeah, definitely idolize relationships. Family and romantic are big, where it's like I will just completely neglect other things if that is something that's demanding of me. And I think I tend to idolize my sense of individuality.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough. It's really tough to not, because, like, we live in such an individualistic society and culture and everything, but, like,
Sure.
Balancing, like, I'm trying to grow as a person, which means, I've got to set goals for myself and try and become the kind of person that I and God wants me to be, and that can become more and more self-oriented as time goes on, and then balancing it with a more holistic of like, well, there's a lot more than just me that my life affects, and my life's meaning is a lot more than my relationship with myself.
Sure, like that desire to like forge your own path.
Yeah.
At the expense of like good advice.
Yeah, exactly.
or right,
Yeah.
or following scripture or what, like insert XYZ thing, but the idea of like the most important thing is that like I do me. Which is for sure a temptation.
Well, and I think that those are good motivators, and I think it's a good thing to be aware of,
Sure. Yeah, well,
like,
I mean, that's the thing with idols.
Yeah.
Is like it's not stuff that's holistically bad.
It's stuff that has some value, but it just is. It's
you give it more value than it deserves.
Boy, it's real raining.
Uh-huh.
Can you hear that, Shock Squad?
Probably.
I'm gonna go to sleep soon.
Yeah. It's we haven't had rain in a while here, so it's
No
important.
complaints here. I am just panicking that I forgot to roll up my windows.
Ah,
I don't think I did. I think they're all rolled up.
okay.
They definitely weren't rolled up on the way here, though.
You want to wrap up the episode so you can go check? Yeah. All right. Because I don't know if you've got anything else you need to say about Idle Minds.
I don't.
It's
roll up your windows.
It's fun. it's breezy-ish. I don't know. Can I throw one last thing in here?
Yes,
I don't know.
please,
Do you have
do
anything
it.
to plug?
I'll plug something after you read it. Go.
Okay, because I want to read a review here.
Yeah.
Because we recently got a review from on iTunes from user Sarcastigirl. Great handle.
Oh, nice. That's gonna be really hard to
says,
interpret your review.
It says fun. 5 stars, of course, because we wouldn't read it otherwise.
Yes.
Great podcast, but as a young woman, I'd be so confused / annoyed if someone called me sir, referencing Aloha Oi Part 2. Just a dumb nitpick, but anyway, love the podcast. Keep up the great work. Smiley face. So there's our answer to my
Query.
our conversation about just calling people sir, regardless of gender.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. Thank you, Sarcastic Girl.
Right.
I'm going to presume that was literal.
All right, you said you wanted to plug something here, Andrew.
Oh, I just learned about, it's apparently really, really good for your body if you can manage to get up before the sun rises and go to bed closer to when it sets. And like it helps your digestion and it helps your mental health, and it helps you get better, more restful sleep because your body is more in line with the environment around it as opposed to its own needs that it has to meet. It kind of gives you that sense of connectedness and congruence there. So yeah, very cool. Learning about it, working on it for myself, trying to get in better habits, and yeah, don't know if anybody out there has trouble sleeping at night, but could be something helpful.
Okay. I don't know. I think I'm just going to end up putting friendships ahead of that, though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, as one does.
I could have a good sleep cycle, but then I wouldn't get to see people.
Exactly. That is my problem. I'm trying to figure out a situation where I can like go to bed at 1, wake up at 6:30, watch the sunrise, go back to sleep for 2 hours, and then start my day. I wonder if that actually works.
Sure. So the next episode to cover is 442A, but 442A is 2 roads, which we have already covered. So you'll be skipping that one next week and talking about 442B, Sticks and Stones, which is another aired once and hasn't been released. But once again, we have the audio, and I'm not saying that there's a link in the description to this episode, but
there's only one way to find out.
If you look in the description and you find one, that might be a nice way to listen to it ahead of our coverage. So we will see you folks in a week to talk about episode 442B, Sticks and Stones. Bye, guys.
WadFam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at WadFamChalkPod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Idle Minds was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the WadFam Chalk Pod.